As these negotiations played out, news broke that the Trump administration terminated funding for a program that tracked Ukrainian children abducted to Russia. Since the war began, Yale's Humanitarian Research Lab has collected detailed information on more than 30,000 children who have been forcibly transferred, fostered, and even adopted in Russia. Since losing their funding in January, researchers have not been able to access their database. Nathaniel Raymond, the executive director of the lab, spoke to EWTN News In Depth in 2023 about this crucial work. This week, he called the cut in funding a catastrophic blow. For a Catholic perspective on these updates, we turn now to Archbishop Borys Gudziak. He's the Metropolitan of the Ukrainian Catholic Archeparchy of Philadelphia and travels to Ukraine often. Your Excellency, welcome to the show. Yale has found that thousands of Ukrainian children have been abducted by Russia. What is your reaction that much of the critical work to track these kidnappings has been stopped?
Well, it's really tragic. Let's just kind of put it in perspective. I think all our viewers have children in the family, whether as parents, grandparents, godparents, aunts and uncles. Think of those children. Think of those children being taken away to a country that is trying to destroy the identity of the United States. And think of knowing that those children are being brainwashed to hate America, to forget their families, to ever remember that they had these parents, grandparents, aunts or uncles. It's just inhumane. It's a crime against humanity.
Now, you frequently make visits to Ukraine. What have you heard on the ground about these children?
What can you hear? In many cases, there is no news. Clearly, the Russians don't want any trace of this whole process to be public. That's why this project run by Yale and funded by the U.S. government was so important, because it gave parents and family members hope. It gave a process for some time, at some point, for families to recover their children by saying, I know where my son is, I know where my daughter is. So this is very despairing. And of course, people in Ukraine know that the numbers are actually much higher than the 20 or 30 even thousand that are mentioned. So many people were deported, and so many children were deported from the occupied territory where no international agencies have access. So how many people were killed, how many people were abducted is really unknown. And the numbers that are used are kind of the minimal numbers.
Now, Your Excellency, aside from the cutting funding, during the conversation on Wednesday between Trump and Zelensky, they did speak about these children. And in a press statement, Catholic Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Trump promised to work closely with both Russia and Ukraine to get these children home. Are you hopeful these children can be returned before the end of the war?
Of course, we're hopeful. We always are. That's at the heart of our faith. We're living the year of hope, the holy year of hope, and we're really focusing on that in our Archeparchy. We just had a big revival based on hope. But whether I believe it's going to happen, I'm very doubtful, because Putin has not retracted any statements. He's not taken any steps backward. And he, in his 25 years, has shown that he just keeps plowing forward. So making concessions or returning children, and thereby demonstrating that this act happened, that these children will be traumatized, these children will be scarred for the rest of the life. And to have those kinds of signs of cruelty and crime in Ukraine is not actually what I think Putin is looking for.
Well, we appreciate you and we thank you. Please be assured of our prayers.
Thank you. Ukrainians are very grateful for American prayers, for the advocacy, and for the material support, the defense support, the economic support. Ukrainians are really fighting a war for their freedom, but it's the freedom of all of us, and for a maintenance of international order of law. Because if Ukraine falls, many consequences will follow. Ukraine gave up its nuclear arms for peace. Now all countries will think, if I can't defend myself with regular conventional weapons, we have to develop a nuclear arsenal. The consequences of Ukraine's fall are just unimaginable for the global community. And we thank Americans. I thank Americans as an American myself, but I relay the gratitude of Ukrainians for American support.
Well, we're grateful for you. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you.